Have you ever wanted to live in or visit Halloween Town, or any of the other towns and more? Well, I'm going to go over everything about how to get there from our mortal human world, how to travel between realms, where they could actually be located in our real world, and even going back into the most ancient and lost ones too. So there are some spoilers there, but I'll give you warnings and time codes. I'm going up the movie, of course, the manga, Sally's Long Live the Pumpkin Queen book, Zero's manga, the Mirror Moon manga, the original illustrated poem by Tim Burton, and the 2021 production art book for good measure. Phew, yeah, that's a lot. As the movie starts off, we learn that each realm's sole function is to create a holiday for mortals to enjoy. Halloween Town makes Halloween spooky however they can. They have one job, and presumably this one job is different per each person's beliefs and where they live. For example, All Hallows Eve, Samhain, All Souls, Dia de Muertos, etc. could all be variations on Halloween Town, and of course there would be more completely different holidays for different beliefs. In the movie, we start off in a mostly American and Christian grove of trees and go through the Halloween Town door. Each door leads to a different holiday town, and we find out later that each holiday realm has its own circle grove of trees to the other holiday towns for visiting and kidnapping Santa Claus. So you could go from Halloween Town to Valentine's Day Town and back just by going through the grove trees. For full details of each of these realms and more, check out this video here. In the movie, Jack does this when he first finds the tree door. He falls in but then has to come home with his stolen Christmas contraband and his new ride somehow, presumably through the Halloween Town door in Christmas Town's grove. The manga follows this well, and so does Zero's story. In Sally's story, she visits every single tree in the grove, some multiple times, and gets back to Halloween Town via each of the other realms' grove trees. A major problem arises when Spoiler Town destroys their grove of trees, but I'll cover that in the next section. But yeah, these trees can be destroyed and regrown in 3 days because of the quote, old magic in their roots, quote. The more you know. Now, here's something interesting. All the other realms know about this circle of trees, how it works, and all about the other holiday towns. Only Halloween Town was out of the loop. Why? Well, it seems that each realm might have a, quote, book of traditions, like the kind elf in Zero's Adventures. This book details where their trees are and how they are arranged. So helpful. Jack seemed to be the first to discover Halloween Town's grove of trees after a particularly morose Halloween, but spoiler, Dr. Finkelstein actually has a book detailing ancient realms in the new Sally book. He's been out of the town and kept it to himself for secret spoiler reasons. This would explain how other realms knew of each other, but Halloween Town was kept in the dark for so long, and how Jack naively proceeded to mess up and improve things so spectacularly. Everyone else knew not to muddle, but not poor old Jack. These inner realm groves are not the only tree doors. Oh, not at all. Ahoy, Pumpkin Queen spoilers! Outside of the circle trees, there's an entire orchard of trees, more ancient ones that predate the current Nightmare Before Christmas circle. Spoiler Realm is on the periphery of this, but there's also Tooth Fairy Realm, Father Time, and Old Man Winter, to name a few. It seems anything that any human at any point believed in is a realm with a tree, which is very exciting to me. Why don't these ancient gods and beings come out? Well, that's twofold. I think belief in something would make it accessible again, but also, spoiler, if a door is blocked, which many of these were, someone or thing from that realm cannot travel into the realm that blocked the door. So if you don't want uninvited guests, just lock the doors. For example, Halloween Town's door to Spoiler Realm was blocked. Vines and such had overgrown and overtaken the door. Partly on purpose, Dr. Finkelstein wanted to hide something, and partly through time. Only when Sally moves them and opens the door herself does something come through. Had she not done that, it never would have invaded, without going roundabout through the mortal realm, which I'll get to right now. As it's the literal job of every town to manufacture mortal holidays, they have to be able to get to the mortals somehow. In addition to each holiday town having its own set of grove doors to other towns and an orchard of ancient realm doors, there are also what I'll call mortal portals. In Christmas Town, it's likely via the sky. Santa Claus's sleigh can up and away and be out and about like a vulture in the mortal realm skies. How mortals would get to Christmas Town is by presumably dropping in or flying up a chimney, putting on Santa's suit. I'm just conjecturing now, but let's get back to the fact track, such as it is. Halloween Town's mortal portal is through the cemetery, of course. Not only is this where the This Is Halloween procession appears to be coming into the town square from, but after Jack's lament, he's able to travel through a grave where he crash-landed in the mortal realm and back into Halloween Town's cemetery. This is also how it happens in Long Live the Pumpkin Queen. Spoiler Realm has burned their inter-realm grove, blocking off Sally's quick exit to Halloween Town. Now, the only way for Sally to get back to Halloween Town is through the mortal realm first. She must go via Spoiler Realm's mortal portal, which is a door in a library that takes you to whichever city you picture's library. So it's a door to any library, which is so cool and especially handy if you have an overdue book. Anyway, once Sally does that, she finds a nearby cemetery to open a door back to Halloween Town with. It would be interesting if any mortal could just enter Halloween Town that way, right? I mean, don't go poking around graves, but if Lock, Shock, and Barrel were mortal trick-or-treaters at one point, I think it's very likely this is how they found their way into Halloween Town, either by following Jack in the parade or else just on their own. They do seem like the type to hang out in cemeteries after all. I'm guessing that St. Patrick's Day mortal portal is via the end of a rainbow. The book depicts this town as a very stereotypical Americanized version of the holiday, because when that town is in danger, the only other functional being not victim to spoiler is a leprechaun who is obsessed with finding the ends of the rainbow. I rather think that that means that this is the way of escaping to the mortal realm, and if a mortal found the end of a rainbow, they could be transported to St. Patrick's Day town, and presumably find gold, right? Back to Spooky Realm, it seems that Halloween Town has another way to get to the mortal realm, and that's also the sky. Jack flies his skeleton deer and coffin contraption up, and away into the mortal realm the same way Santa Claus does, to deliver all his horridly delightful presents to the unsuspecting mortals. And Santa Claus visits Halloween Town this same way at the end of the movie and Zero Story. So either it's a Christmas and Halloween special bridge, or every realm can also be exited by the sky perhaps. Which makes me wonder if, in fact, these are all places that could exist in physical latitude and longitude. In a playful head in the clouds, I want to live where the spooky things are, since, of course, like if all you had to do to get out of a holiday town into the mortal realm was float, fly, etc., it would make sense that your town occupied a physical location. This works so beautifully and easily with Christmas Town, which is a snowy toy factory operating 24/7, 365 in constant snow, perpetually evergreen trees, and darkness. This type of place actually exists in our mortal world, the Northern Pole. Things get trickier with other holidays. Valentine's Day Town is a lot of sweets and candy, and because it's focused on love, maybe the weather isn't important for most, loving activities. It's also very flower focused, but greenhouses could be used to grow beautiful bouquet components all year round, whatever the weather. This could be a real life place, anywhere, really. So again, St. Patrick's Day Town, and look, I am just going off how the book describes it, even though it's an American version, feels like it wants to be somewhere on the Emerald Isle. It's described as a cool, minty forest, lush green and stunted because it's where the leprechauns live. Eastertown, a meadow of plastic grass, and 4th of July Town, which is just a perpetual explosive fireworks show, are kind of more synthetic and also less dependent on changing seasons and weather. Easter could exist in a perpetually warm but not hot, don't want to melt the grass and rot the eggs area. And 4th of July Town could be a desert. I mean, it's just perpetual explosions and testing, so I'm pretty sure such a testing site for more dangerous things already exists in the real American desert, right? Thanksgiving Town and Halloween Town are the ones that kind of break this mold, though. Thanksgiving Town is regrettably not run by turkeys, but in a state of perpetual ready-to-eat crops in a low valley. Corn, wheat, pumpkins, and gangs of wild turkeys. The issue is, the weather is described as cold, and there's snow on the way, and the trees' leaves have already changed colors, even though it takes place after Halloween Town, where the leaves are already gone. I'm not a farmer, but I think you need a relatively warm growing season for parts of the crop's life cycles. I'm not sure where this type of climate and crops would fit into the actual mortal world, but dang it, it's the best lead, so get your work boots on because I'm gonna get deep into crop triangulation. Here, let me show you. Corn is a summertime crop, taking between 55 and 95 growing degree days of 75 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit and 15 or more inches of water to produce mature ears of corn, and 130 or more frost-free days. This looming snow of Thanksgiving Town concerns me here. It does best in zones 4 through 8. Wheat has a spring variety, 128 days, and a winter one, 240. In the USA, there are 6 classes of wheat grown across 42 states and many zones. The book is not specific in which species of wheat this is, but given winter is coming, let's say it's wintry. Pumpkins can be grown in zones 3 through 7 and have a long growing season, 75 to 100 frost-free days. For an October harvest, northern locations need to plant by late May, more southern areas by early July. Now Thanksgiving Town is a November holiday, and at the end of the month at that, so maybe they're located somewhere where they were able to push back their planting by a month as well. Anyway, checking out these maps, you see we have a lot of overlap, but given that the leaves have changed colors and some historical context, that puts us somewhere in this region here, for Thanksgiving Town at least. And the same with Halloween Town, where it's not so much growing things, but the unchanging state of decay of things. Visually, Halloween Town looks like an East Coastal adjacent area. The winding hills, the building styles, and especially the old Americana-style gravestones. Chronologically, it's before Thanksgiving Town. The book states they go in American holiday order, and its jack-o'-lanterns are fresh, but every living plant is in its near-death phase. They look dry and not really fresh to me. Halloween is already such an ephemeral time. Crisp leaves falling, the last throes of harvester crops, and the fact that this is a constant makes me scratch my head as to where this nothing grows fully but is always decaying climate could be in our real world. And it's when I get to this point that I think, dang, I'm overthinking this again. That's not the point of Halloween Land. I mean, it is so fun. But I also remember the intro where each town exists only to make a holiday that each person believes in, however they believe it to be. Halloween Town can be in its frozen state of ungrowth but always decaying if that's what you believe in or what frightens you the most. Each little town can be its own world, like snow globes that can exist in any climate, and each person can have their own little collection to pull out when it's time to celebrate whatever it's time to celebrate. And that is everything about the tree doors in The Nightmare Before Christmas. Which doors would you like to try to go through? Which would be the most, well, nightmarish, especially given those new ones? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you, friends and fiends, for opening all these doors with me. Subscribe so you won't miss the next spooky cool video. Goodbye!